It says you stepped away from music for years because of your religious journey.
Yes.
That's something a lot of artists wouldn't do.
Yeah.
Why?
My religion is my life. I'm Muslim. And I say that, I wear that as like a badge of honor to be Muslim. You know, I think I'm a little bit more diligent than some other people I may know. And I hate saying that even, like, you know.
Yeah.
I hate to even say that because I feel like I'm putting other people down. But for me, that's how I live my life. You know, my life is constructed within the principles of my religion. And it was a tough battle to have to deal with the things that you know are not right, the things that you know you shouldn't be doing, and then having to lead a family to Jannah doing wrong, you know? You never want to be the person that's telling somebody not to drink while you got a 40 in your hand.
Everybody has a name the world comes to know. But before the name, there's a story. Before the Billboard charts, before the trophies, before the stages, the poetry, the music, and before the whole truth, there was Demetrius, a kid from North Philadelphia, a son raised by a village, a basketball court that felt like home, a house full of brothers and sisters, a young boy watching everything around him, listening, learning, and remembering. Long before he understood what his words could become, he discovered they could make people feel something. And somewhere between childhood and manhood, music became more than something he listened to. It became somewhere he could tell the truth. But the journey of MeatSpady isn't simply the story of becoming an artist. It's the story of becoming a man. A father, a husband, a Muslim, a man learning that sometimes growth requires holding on, and sometimes it requires walking away. Because eventually, every man has to decide which parts of himself he carries forward and which parts he leaves behind. This is MeatSpady, and this is the whole truth.
MeatSpady.
That is my name, man.
I kind of want to get into, so I divided these things up into chapters, right? Chapter 1, before MeatSpady. Now, before people knew you as MeatSpady, who was Demetrius?
It wasn't even Demetrius, man. I was Meatball. Yeah. It wasn't even no Demetrius. Everybody called me Meatball. If you call me Demetrius, you call me Demetrius because you knew me from school. But everybody knew me as Meatball, though. I don't know. I probably was just like a highly emotional teenage kid, man. Like, just doing what teenagers do. I was a bookworm. I was a Dragon Ball Z fan.
Yeah.
You know? But I had so much balance, though. Like, I remember I would come home after school, do my homework. 6 o'clock would come. We would watch 106 in Park. I would watch Dragon Ball Z. And then I would find myself like watching Comic View, which is crazy because kind of all of those things are rolled up in my personality. Like, you know, the anime and the music and then the comedic relief part of stuff. Like, so I think I just was like an all around, very attentive kid. I paid attention to a lot of stuff. I paid attention to a lot of people. Watched a lot of people. I always listen to music though. Yeah. Music
is life.
At one point it was. Yeah. At one point it definitely was.
Now you from the city, obviously, right?
Yeah.
What part? North Philly, right?
I'm the north side with the F.
North.
20, so it's crazy. I'm one of those guys that got like 2 hoods that I rep. So like 18th and Susquehanna, and then 24th, 25th Allegheny, Taylor and Allegheny. I I would say I probably got a lot of my bearings together around the Allegheny area as opposed to Susquehanna. Yeah.
It's kind of rough around there, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember even growing up when I used to sell DVDs, and we used to go for 22nd and Cecil B. More.
Okay, yeah.
It's rough around there. And I'm thinking I grew up in the hood, 30 Diamond. You know, you go across, you go a couple blocks over 22nd and Cecil B. More. It was kind of crazy over there.
Yeah, I had family around there at 1500 Grant Street, so that's right around the corner from there.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's rough. It was rough everywhere, you ask me. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I was going to ask you if you could paint the picture of North Philly for someone who's never been there, you know, especially around where you was.
It's different now.
Yeah.
It's different now. You go to 18th and Susquehanna. You go to Susquehanna, period. It just looks like a whole completely different place, man. But I would say for me as a kid, you know, my dad was very, very I don't want to say famous, but like popular on Susquehanna from basketball. So a lot of the time that I spent in North Philly on Susquehanna was at 16th Street. And that was 16th Street was life, man. Anybody who knew me from Susquehanna knows me from 16th Street. All we did was play basketball, sun up to sundown. That's all we did. So, in that sense, there was community there. But there was also the community from like I said, from my lineage, from my father. Yeah. Being his son, everybody just know you. Everybody know you. You know you black son, like yeah, you know. And I didn't know at the time what that actually meant. Yeah. But as you get older, you start to see like, damn, people treat your pop a little bit different. You know what I mean? Yeah. Your pop got a lot of respect out here. So I guess just naturally, I was protected a lot. You know, from a lot of different things. I was shielded from a lot of different things. But back then, man, that was the community. That whole from Bavaria and Susquehanna to 16th, 15th and Susquehanna, that was community for me. You know what I mean? And then the square of it is to Dauphin. You know, you go to Dauphin, back to Bavaria and Dauphin. But that right there is the community. I knew everybody in that area. Everybody knew me. Everybody knew me as my father's son. You know, so. Yeah.
Well, you know, that was going to be my next question, too, was like, you kind of answered both of them, really. Who, you know, what kind of kid were you and who raised you? You know what I mean?
Well, I had a village. My dad raised me. My mom raised me. My grandmother is very monumental in my upbringing. My siblings, man. My older sister, who I don't think she even gets enough credit for a lot of stuff that she instilled in me, you know? She was parentified early because my mom was always at work. So my older sister had to watch a lot of us, you know what I'm saying?
Well, how many siblings you got?
Man, I think all on both sides. Let me see. So I got 6 from my mom. And then from my dad, I think my dad got 6. Mom got 7 and my dad got 6. But my dad got 4 of my mom's 7.
Got you.
You see what I'm saying? Right, yeah. He got 4 of my mom's 7 and he has 6. So I got a sister who's like right under me, and then I got a younger brother that's like the same age as my son. So
where do you fall in the lineup there?
I'm the oldest of my dad and the middle child of my mom. So I got king baby syndrome. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, because a lot of middle childs, they feel like they get that black sheep of the family type.
I think I am, though.
Okay.
I think I am. Like, but not just being the middle child, but there's like I think all of my siblings indulge in some type of I don't drug or alcohol. I'm the only one that don't. Like, I don't drink, I don't smoke, you know?
Yeah.
I think in that way I'm the black sheep. I was just like the first one to become Muslim out of all of my siblings. A few of them are Muslim now, but I was like the first one to do it. And yeah, that, like, black sheep for sure. I feel like that way. But yeah, man, as far as like my upbringing, my raising, some people who were very influential for me. It was a family that lived across the street from me when I lived with my dad, Miss Dot and Mr. Thurston. They looked after me a lot too. You know, this was when you had communities in the city where that block, you know, the block knew who you were. You know what I'm saying? They looked after you. You know what I mean? There's so many people, man, that I can just kind of pinpoint very pivotal areas of my life where they instilled a lot of values and characteristics in me. So
yeah. Well, what's one moment from your childhood that kind of still lives with you today?
Oh man,
I'm sure there's a bunch, you know what I mean, but it's definitely that one that you know.
The one from my childhood that still lives with me today. Damn. I don't even know, to be honest with you. Like, are we going like a core memory?
I mean, it's your world. So however you perceive that question to be, you know, if you could think back and like, man, I remember Pops was dunking on the board, or Grandma spanked me one time.
I would have to go 1996, the Blizzard. Yeah. I would have to go 1996, the Blizzard.
Why specifically the Blizzard of 96?
What I remember is it's just so much happiness in the house. We all was stuck in the house. Nobody could work. Nobody could go to school. So it was all of us in the crib. My mom, my dad, all the kids. So, and my dad was one of those dads that made everything happy.
Yeah.
So we making snowmans. My sister jumps out the window and gets lost in the snow. We couldn't find her for like 15 minutes. But I would say that Blizzard of 96 is when I can remember just the whole household having joy. You know, it was just so much joy in the crib. Just that for that week or whatever, however long it was. Yeah. It was a beautiful time, man. 96 Blizzard.
And I remember that the Blizzard of 96. That you know, being a young boy, that snow was up to our stomach, it past the knees and whatnot.
For me, it was past that. Bro. Yeah, it was. I think I couldn't go outside. It was 5 feet of snow. I couldn't go outside.
But it's funny how the world and the universe has a way of forcing everybody to stay home and be in the house, be together.
It was together. We made a snowman. Snowman had my mom's earrings as his eyes, a fireman hat. But that's a core memory for me. And I remember with my kids taking the time out to make a snowman and, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, pay it forward.
Just kind of because that brought me so much joy. And it's just kind of I wonder if this would bring my kids much joy. So, yeah.
When I was going to ask you too, right? So, moving forward and whatnot, when did music start to play an effect on you? You obviously were a listener first.
Yeah. So
what music were you listening to growing up, and how did it shape the artist you were becoming?
I listened to everything.
Yeah.
There wasn't nothing that I didn't listen to. Everything. Everything, bro. Gospel. And that wasn't the first genre of music that I listened to, but I listened to that, Kurt Franklin and GP. My uncle used to come get us and bring us. He used to take us to Southwest for the weekend, and that's all he would be listening to. He would be listening to Kurt Franklin, WJJZ 106.1, smooth jazz. So I had some of that instilled in me from those car rides, and those were good memories too. Yeah. But I would say the first album that I ever bought was Lil Wayne, The Block Is Hot. That's the first album that I ever purchased, bro. Yeah. $5. It was bootleg.
Yeah.
But I got it.
Oh, you was going to 22nd and 6th of Billboard. I was getting my DVDs.
I was on 5th Street. This is when we lived in Alny at the time. I walked right around the 5th Street to the little deli. Main man out there, and I what it was I was short. I had braids, and bandanas was a thing around the time. So I see the cover, and I'm like, that's me.
Yeah.
That guy looks like me. And man, put that thing in, straight off the block.
You do every word,
every word of every song. Lil Wayne, bro. And you couldn't tell me I wasn't Wayne. You couldn't tell me I wasn't Lil Wayne. Yeah. Littlest dude out of everybody that we hanging with. Got the little cornrows and all that. So yeah, man, it was a great time. But everything, and then I also grew up in that era of the box too. I don't know if you remember the box. I grew up in that era of the box where different genres of music would play. Yeah. So you had like, you know, Evanescence, Avril Lavigne, like you had all these different rock groups with their rock songs coming on the box, and then they would go hip hop. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you had Juvenile, you had Lil Wayne, I remember this video, man, with this guy. He had on this big ass hat, and everything in the video was moving. I don't know if you remember this video.
I gotta see it.
It's crazy. Everything was just moved. The room was moving. And I just love this video for some reason, bro. I just used to love when people would order this video and would come on. I used to just watch this video like, this shit is crazy. Yeah. Moby was like, I remember everything, bro. I listened to everything. You know what I'm saying? But I was always that kid. I would sing these, they would call them white songs. Yeah. I would sing these white songs, and the niggas would be looking at me like, I'm singing this weird shit. Like, but to me, like, this shit was a vibe.
It was, yeah. I mean, you mentioned Avril Lavigne, you know, Green Day.
Green Day, bro. All of that. All of that. I was very well-rounded musically, you know what I mean? But, I want to say that started when I was around, like, 11 years old, 10 years old, where, like, music really I started to dissect it, listen to it a little bit differently. Yeah.
And you're getting older, so you're starting to understand words and lyrics.
I'm starting to write now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm starting to write what I'm feeling, my emotions.
Yeah. Now, did that start off as like just poetry, maybe for the ladies at the time, or you was just kind of expressing yourself?
It started off for me as competition. I had a cousin who lived out in Chester, and he came. They ended up moving to Philly, and he was rapping, and this nigga was hard. Like he was just so good, like, and he my age, probably a year or so older, maybe a year or two older. He doing the rap thing, and I'm just like, man, I want to rap too, like, you know what I'm saying? So my first joint out the gate, my cousin, he was here with it. This yours, you know what I'm saying? So he pinned me, like, he got me together, and you know, I was off to the races ever since then.
Well, it's funny that we got into that topic or whatnot. My next question was, when did music first stop being entertainment and start becoming therapy?
Yeah, man. It was probably around like 12, 13 years old when it became therapeutic. I remember the first like real thing that I wrote that like I saw it have an effect on people. Because, you know, we writing, this is around the time of Bow Wow, Romeo. So the kid rapper is a thing.
It is, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like a popular thing. This was before everything became trendy. Everything, you know, now everything is trendy. You see, if it pops with one person, you start to see 12 other people doing it. Around this time, it was 2-3 people doing the kid thing. You know what I'm saying? And Bow Wow was the legendary legend, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And some people liked Romeo too, but Bow Wow was the one.
Yeah, we knew what it was.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Right. So we trying to rap, but we rapping about the craziest things, like the craziest shit we rapping about. And it's like, y'all not believable. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the first thing that I ever wrote, it was to that Tony, is it Cuban Links? Tony Sunshine, Flowers of the Dead.
Oh, yeah. I was from the dead.
That was my shit, dog.
Yeah, shout out.
That was my shit, bro.
Yeah.
And I wrote a rap to that, like a kind of like a timeline. And I remember I rapped it to my Uncle Rut. And these niggas was my Uncle Rut and my older brother Jamal. I rapped it to them, and they were blown away. It was the first time that they had ever looked at me and was like, damn, this nigga, like, because my cousin was the one always getting all of that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I would get it, but it wasn't, you can tell that they wanted him. Yeah. And I was like the the other one.
But that was low key motivation for you too, right? So when
Yeah.
that Tony Sunshine and Cuban Link joint came together for you.
So when I saw that, I'm like, all right, it's me too. It's me too. It ain't just cuz of, like, you know what I'm saying? It's me too. I'm here. I arrived in that moment. So now we about 12, 13 at the time, and my uncle has this record label called Whole Boy Records. And now, you know, we going to the studio.
Yeah.
So I'm in the studio 12, 13 years old, learning about engineering and all of that stuff. And I'm, you know, and I used to, and mind you, I'm attentive and nosy. So I'm sitting there watching the boy, I think his name was C's. I'm sitting there watching him work the keyboards and do all of the, I don't know if it was Pro Tools or not, but I'm watching all of it like, damn, okay, he placing the hook here, so we don't got to do the hook twice. He just dropping it in there. Like, all right, we don't got to do it twice. We just do it once.
You studying for real.
I'm watching it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm watching it and learning. I'm like, okay, all right, then. And they're like, yeah, you got to do doubles. Your doubles got to be strong, and this got to be this, and do your ad-libs. And I'm learning about ad-libs and doubles and, you know what I'm saying, how to count bars, 16 bars, 16, you need 16 bars here, you need 8 bars here. And it's always me and my cousin, so it was always 16, 16, 8, and 8. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was learning all of that. I was in school, you know what I mean? I was in school with the music part of it, but that was a great time too.
But you know, I was gonna say this is a perfect segue for chapter 2.
Okay.
Becoming an artist.
Yeah. Yeah, I was an artist young, man.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna ask you, like, you know, you said was they calling you Meatball at the time?
My name. I don't even know what. I don't remember what people Meat. Everybody just called me Meat. But no, it was MeatSpady though.
Okay,
it was MeatSpady.
My first question in chapter 2 was why the name MeatSpady?
Yeah, it was MeatSpady, man. Because so my name is Demetrius Spady McBride. And Meat McBride just ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
MeatSpady. So it flowed. Everybody was already calling me Meatball. So MeatSpady, you know what I'm saying? And then like for me, the Spady thing was always a thing because that's my last name. I didn't really find out that was my last name until probably maybe like 6th or 7th grade. But it was my older brother was my idol, and we got different fathers. Not that means anything. I always thought that he had his father's last name when it was really I had my father's last name. He had my mother's last name. So he was the guy that I looked up to. So of course I wanted, you know, his name was Jamal Spady. I want mine to be, you know, Demetrius Spady. So when I found out my actual name is Demetrius Spady, I took that shit and ran with it. My name is Demetrius Spady. My birth certificate, cool.
Yeah.
So MeatSpady just worked out that way. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just how it went. So we was cool. We was cool with MeatSpady. It clicked. It sounded good. It felt good. So we was on it.
Fire. Now, when did you realize you actually had something to say?
Probably at that age, at that Tony Sunshine rap that I had did. Not Tony Sunshine, the Cuban Links, Flowers of the Dead drink that I did. That's when I realized I had something to say. That's when I realized my words moved people. Because I was just, all I did was the rap was just me reliving my life. It was a timeline of my life up until that point. And it was so vivid, especially for my brother because he was there. Like he understood, like, damn, I remember this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember you driving, your dad putting you in your lap and you driving the car. Like, I remember you. You know what I'm saying? So for him, I guess it was just like, damn, how are you able to draw that? How are you able to even remember it and then paint it so vivid so that other people could kind of feel it? So from there, man, it became a thing. And now me and my cousin is like creating songs, and the songs that we're creating, you know, and he was just a genius, man. Like he was just a genius, bro. Like you don't get MeatSpady without him. You know what I'm saying? Me and him, we don't bang. You know what I'm saying? Still my cousin, I still love him, no doubt. But we don't bang though, you know what I'm saying? And it happens like that. Shit happens like that. But I can't give you my story without including him. Right. So I would never slight him in any way, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, he was like a genius, bro, and he would just formulate these songs, come up with these topics, and all my job was easy. I just had to write my 16 and my 8.
Right.
He had the hook, he had the concept, he was doing it all. I had the easiest job in the world. But a lot of it was, he was the focal point of a lot of that movement of my artistry. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I gotta credit him, bro. You don't get no me without him.
Yeah. Well, at the time, I guess, you know, you feel like you guys were like chasing something like fame, respect, money, or something else, or
girls.
makes sense.
Chasing girls, man.
Yeah.
I think for me, I was chasing girls. For him, I think it was a little bit deeper. You know, the dream that I'm actually living right now is my cousin's dream. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for him, this is all he ever did, all he ever wanted to do. You know what I mean? So for him, it made sense why it meant so much more to him. You know what I mean? For me, I was just always like the tag along. Like my thing was, I'm doing it because you're doing it.
Yeah.
You my man, I'm rocking with you. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I think that, I think he was chasing, like, this is what he wanted to do. This is what he was great at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Me personally, though, I wasn't chasing nothing. The girls would come with it. You was good at rapping, you get girls. You know what I'm saying? The girls knew you could rap, they like you. You know what I'm saying? So that's all it was for real for me.
Yeah. Now you feel like I was gonna say, looking back now, you know, what did the younger MeatSpady like misunderstand about success?
What it looked like?
Yeah, what it look like in your success?
No, I'm saying that's my answer. That's what I missed. That's what I didn't understand about it. Is what it looked like. To me, success was a Benz, a big house, a whole bunch of money. That was success. You get rich. Success now looks completely different. Completely different. You know what I'm saying? As a, however old I am, 38-year-old male, you know what I'm saying? It looks completely different. Success looks completely different.
Well, let me ask you this then. What does success mean to you then now?
What success means to me is a completion. To complete something for me is success. You know? But there's two different shades of success. There's the try, the attempt, and then the completion. Because you can try something, and you may not complete it. That still makes you successful because you tried. You didn't not do it. You know what I mean? You did it. So that makes you successful. But to complete something, chef kiss, man, it's beautiful. It's beautiful when you can complete something. When you can, I don't know, like for me as a creative, to complete an album, that's success. When I write these verses and I'm writing from my heart, this vulnerability, and somebody comes up to me and say, bro, I felt that. That's success. I never have to sell a record for one person to tell me, like, dang, I felt that. That was beautiful. That's my life right there that you're talking about. That's success to me. So the completion of something, like, you know what I mean? That's beautiful. That's success. To just be able to complete it. Start to finish. A lot of these things started as an idea, bro. Started as one word and ended up being 13 songs. Can't fathom that. Like, you can't really put that in words for real.
Now, I figured this would be a good way to get to chapter 3.
Okay.
Walking away. Now, I read your bio, right? It says you stepped away from music for years because of your religious journey.
Yes.
That's something a lot of artists wouldn't do.
Yeah.
Why?
My religion is my life. I'm Muslim. And I say that, I wear that as like a badge of honor to be Muslim. You know, I think I'm a little bit more diligent than some other people I may know. And I hate saying that, even, like, you know.
Yeah.
I hate to even say that because I feel like I'm putting other people down. But for me, that's how I live my life. You know, my life is constructed within the principles of my religion. And it was a tough battle to have to deal with the things that you know are not right, the things that you know you shouldn't be doing, and then having to lead a family to Jannah doing wrong, you know?
Mm-hmm.
There's something called a munafiqun. It's a hypocrite, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you never want to be that. You never want to be the person that's telling somebody not to drink while you got a 40 in your hand.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is, that's what you're supposed to do, though. Even if I'm doing wrong, I'm still not supposed to instruct you to do it.
What is the saying that says, do as I say, not as I do,
Mm-hmm.
or something like that?
I mean, that's just a general term that people use. Like,
Yeah.
do as I, like my parents used to always say that, do as I say, not as I do. But it's
Right.
kind of hard for somebody to really look to you and say, oh, all right, yeah, you're right, I could do that when you doing that.
Yeah.
You know, so for me, the walk away was easy because I was stepping into the chapter of husband, family orientation. And I had up to that point, I had been everything that a man could be. I was a father at 17. I was a brother. Obviously, I got a whole bunch of siblings. I was an uncle. I was a son, a grandson. I was a godfather. Every title that a man could hold, I had held to that point. And then I got married, and that made me a husband. And for me, I wanted to really honor that, you know?
Yeah.
So I gave away all my CDs. Literally, I was in the park giving away my CDs. I had CD booklets of CDs. I gave it away. I gave away everything, man. All my porn collection, I gave it up.
Not the porn collection.
Not the porn.
Oh, my God.
I gave everything up, man, because I wanted to really be 10 toes into marriage and this newfound title as a man.
Sometimes becoming who you're supposed to be means walking away from who you thought you were. For me, Spady, music has been a competition, expression, therapy. It gave a young kid from North Philadelphia a voice, and eventually, an identity. But adulthood was asking something different from it. Marriage, fatherhood, faith, responsibility. And for the first time, the question wasn't whether MeatSpady could become a successful artist. The question was whether Demetrius could become the man he believed he was supposed to be. So he walked away from the CDs, from the music, from MeatSpady. Or at least he thought he did. Because some chapters don't end when we close the book. Sometimes they wait for us to come back different.